Okay, guys, thanks for coming out and covering us and sticking around. Certainly disappointing. Something that we have to get fixed. It's not the desired outcome and what we set out to do. So it's my job as the head coach to make sure that I examine everything in the program and make sure that we're doing the things correctly. I will not come up here and, start to feel like the sky is falling. That I promise you. We did a lot of good things out there today. Just weren't good enough to win. Didn't play well enough to win, I should say. But I'll answer your questions and try to help you understand it a little better.
Greg, defensively, what do you think went? I know you had some injuries there, but what do you think was the main issue?
Well, you're right. We did have injuries, but everybody's got injuries. I'm not gonna go. I think more than the guys that didn't play were the guys that played that are hurting. Guys that played that didn't practice very much because they couldn't practice and then be able to play. They had to heal. Those guys, I think, again, that's what I got to look at. Is a healthy so-and-so better than a 80% other guy? I got to make some decisions that way, I think, especially on a short week. I have absolutely no idea what our medical situation is coming out of the game. I think we have a lot of really tough kids, guys that play with pain. We have a belief around here, and we talk about it all the time. There's a difference between pain and injury. And in this game of football, you play with pain. You don't play with injury. You play with injury, you can hurt yourself worse, and that I'm not trying to have anybody have. But you do play with pain. You practice with pain. And, 223 yards after the catch. That's the stat that just smacks me in the face, right? We didn't tackle well. Now, why is that? Did we forget how to tackle? Michigan and Rutgers were back and forth. Last year is the best tackling team in football. The stats that they do in tackling. We didn't forget how. We didn't forget how to coach it. We didn't forget how to do it. It's mostly the same guys. But that's the hardest part of playing defensive football. And if you've never done it, then you don't understand, nor will you ever understand. And if you've done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It looks easy. It's like a video game. Just go take that guy out, and he's down. And that's not the way it is. And when you tackle somebody and you're hurting, that amplifies the pain quite a bit. So I have to, because I'm in charge of personnel, I have to make some decisions what we do with young players. What do we do with guys that are hurting? Do we give them a chance to just totally get back? Again, it's not like we have that many guys, right? So, but that's what I'm going to have to do between now and heading out to California. Short week, six days, and we play at FC Friday night. So I got a lot to do. So we'll keep this moving.
Greg, you scored a touchdown early in the third quarter to cut it to 5 points, went for 2 there. Could you just tell us your thinking on why you would chase points that early in the game?
Yeah, chase points is good for commentators and also good for writers, and it's good for bars to talk about it. Like, you're sitting around the bar and you're having a beer and you say, why would you do that? Every year we have analytics people who do it. And so like this is computerized, and you look at all the college football since they started doing 2-point plays, and you run it out. And it's a very simple thing. You look at the computer, it says 1, 2. And I never go to the very edge of 2. So I don't ever want to be the outlier that, is totally. So I go in, shave a little off this end and a little off that, and then those are the situations we go for 2. Now, the hard thing is everybody would like to be able to make it a video game again and say, oh, go for 2. But how many possessions did we have in the first half? 3 possessions, right? Usually you have 5 to 6 possessions. So we got cut in half the way the game. I knew that was going to happen. They huddle every play, right? It's NFL football, and that's the way the game played. It played like an NFL football game. And after 3 possessions, so when you go and you figure the possessions out, chasing the points is such an overused nomiker, because it's easy to say, right? You don't ever go for it before the 4th. That's not true. If you did the analytical work, you'd know that's not true. And it's not me. That's not somebody's feelings. It's math. And you gotta apply it to your team, and you gotta apply it to your game that you're playing that day. And after 3 possessions in the first half, I said, this is not going to be a lot of opportunities for us. So yeah, I 100% would do it again, and it's not being defiant or defending. It's math. And if anyone ever would like to go through it with me, I'll show you. It's not complicated.
The injuries obviously just keep mounting. Obviously today, Kenny and Victor being lost for the rest of the season. I mean, how concerning is this going forward that the depth is just getting hit harder and harder?
Yeah, I mean, but I was really proud, right? I was really proud. I have no idea how Mike Higgins played, but he jumped in there. And Logan Blake jumped in there. I mean, I watched one play. Logan Blake ran a split zone and walloped the kid. I said, good for you, Logan. You know, this is not exactly the timeline I had in mind for Logan, but that's life, right? That's Big Ten football. We were very fortunate a year ago with injuries. We're not so fortunate this year. Nobody cares. That's life in the big city. Figure it out. And that's what we'll do. We'll go figure it out.
Greg, you mentioned not having a lot of guys. This is a program that's prided itself on being a developmental program. Are you concerned about drop-offs between starters and second-tier guys or second-string guys? Or do you think there is any drop-off, a significant drop-off? And I guess if there is, why do you think that is?
Let me get your question. You asked about 4 different questions.
Sorry,
let me get it right. Let's go one at a time.
Sure.
Am I concerned about the drop-off between ones and twos?
Correct.
Well, at certain positions, probably, yeah. Also concerned about the drop-off from ones to threes, right? But it doesn't matter. We are a developmental program, but who isn't a developmental program? Some have to do it more than others. We have to do it more than others. That's just the hand we're dealt at this time. That's okay. We got plenty of good players. We had guys who stepped in and played well today. We had other guys that, when you don't have experience counts for something. You'll be a better writer 10 years from now than you are now. I'll be a better coach if I'm still coaching 10 years from now. All our experiences help us. So a young guy, can he make mistakes because he's just never been there? Yeah. But then, maybe an older guy that's hurting can't make the plays that he normally can make. So I have to do. I'm disappointed in myself. As that game unfolded, I sit there and say, I wonder if I did the right thing. But you got to make a move. You got to make a decision during the week. And, we did it. It wasn't good enough, though. We certainly didn't play well enough. When you look at it, he scored 32 points in a Big Ten football game. That should be good enough, right? It wasn't today, but it should be, especially the way our program's built. So we didn't get it done defensively, and we got to look at it and figure it out.
That third quarter, there was the play, swing pass to Keegan Jones, the running back. It looked like none of your defenders went with him. Was that just a blown coverage, or were you able to diagnose that play yet?
No, there was somebody who went with him, but he went with him a little late, and he's really fast. So if you go with him a little late, there was a lot of those, though, today. There was a lot of those where, the ball was caught. How do you have 223 yards of yardage after the catch? That means we didn't do a very good job. And it isn't just the DBs. It isn't just the linebackers. It's everybody. We didn't do a good job in the pass rush where the quarterback had the opportunity to extend plays. We just didn't play very well defensively. And that's why it was a 35-32 shootout. And I was really proud of Ethan. I thought he went out and made some really big-time throws. I was proud of our young. You got a true freshman catching balls. Two true freshmen out there. You got a sophomore, true sophomore. There's a lot of good things cooking that I'm excited about. I just wish that we didn't have all these other issues, but you know what? That's life. In some seasons, you stay healthy, and some you don't. But we have to figure it out, and we have a clock downstairs that we hit, and it's 6 hours and 4 minutes an hour ago, or 6 days. 6 days and 4 hours an hour ago. So now it's 6 days and 3 hours. By the time I get home, it'll be in the 5 days. We got to get ready to go play USC, very good football team. So, yeah, I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of our coaches. I'm proud of our players. They can't work any harder. I have to figure out a way to make their work pay off. That's my job as the leader of this program. Right now, it hasn't paid off. This wasn't like last week's game. Last week's game, I thought, was something that was really, really. Yeah, we got out Rutgers. And I said that after the game. But this wasn't that. We We couldn't or we didn't. You know, there's an old saying in coaching, can't and won't, the result's the same. So whatever the result was, it was. But we got to get better. That's what we'll do.
Greg, the last 2 weeks you guys struggled to score. This week it was more about the defense. What's your biggest concern with the team right now?
Well, we didn't exactly shut them out last week. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just we struggled to score. We didn't stop them. So my biggest concern is I need to do a better job of leading the program. That's my biggest concern, and I got to figure out how to do that because that's my job. And you know what? I'll help other people do their job better, but I got to do my job better. So that's my number one thing.
Greg, after 2 weeks of the offense struggling, what did you see from Ethan in the balance of the offense in particular?
Well, you know, again, it's not just Ethan, right? I do think Ethan played well. I think that the offensive line gave him time. He protected him pretty well. Ethan did a great job moving in the pocket. I thought he moved. You know, the way you move in the pocket as a quarterback is critical. If you move with your platform underneath you, you can deliver an accurate pass. He did that. He moved with a great platform and delivered an accurate pass several times today, which was critical. And again, I mentioned the young receivers. A guy that, you know, you have to make mention is Kyle Monunga. The guy's one of the top 3 toughest guys I've ever coached. I'm not going to get into what he played with, and neither will he. But what he went through today, and especially he took a hit, whatever that was, end of second quarter, and for him to return and for him to play the way he did, my hat is off to him. He knows how much I respect his, not only his game, but his toughness. But I'll just close it with this, guys. We will get there. This program will get there. I know that there's going to be certain people that want to cast their ballot and say, oh, we got big problems. You call your shot. Just remember, we will get there, I promise you. So you want to call your shot now? Just call it. But know that you're calling your shot. This program will be just fine. Thank you.